Sup all, born in Asphodel Meadow here, and yesterday night I was looking through videos on YouTube trying to find anything that was worthy of note and what Christians or atheists had to say about how the universe was created and stuff like that. You know, proof for God, because I'm still looking for a decent argument. And I came across several videos that stated that intelligent design was fact because of certain aspects of the world that we can observe that allow for no other option aside from an intelligent designer. I got a little emotional about it, so I wrote 2 pages typed, 12 font. So, yeah, I guess I'm going to read it now. Most of this came from either stuff that I already knew from some source that I can't quote because I don't remember it, or stuff that I just found on generic websites to try to give myself just a basis for it to talk about. So, I don't have too many concrete references that you can check, so this isn't actually like everything I'm saying right now has been said in better ways by more and more credible people than I'm going to say it. But this is just for anyone who wants it explained to them the way I would do it, for my own viewers, basically. So I will begin. Intelligent design is false. The wording most used for this theory is that design necessitates a designer, but the prerequisite of there being concrete evidence of a designer is a design, and there is none. Anyone who understands evolution will know this. Evolution is not the process of achieving a certain shape or form with a goal in mind. Evolution is the antithesis of a design, trial and error. There is no goal in mind when organisms evolve. It's basically that whatever works is going to prosper. An example of an argument used for intelligent design is that the Earth has the perfect makeup and gravity for humans. I agree, humans would not easily prosper on a planet with radically different gravity or chemical makeup. The atmosphere would not support us. However, care to notice 2 things. One, that there are billions of planets in the universe, and almost all the ones we've observed or analyzed are incapable of supporting human life. Second, the scenario isn't that humans had a planet perfectly designed for them. It's that we were perfectly designed for a planet because we adapted on our planet. It's a common misconception that comes from the religious point of view. Religious people are used to thinking in a way that's akin to geocentric thinking, that humans are the center of the universe. The misconception is that humans could not live on other planets, but we can live on Earth. Therefore, Earth was designed for humans. In actuality, the statement should say, other planets could not provide the necessary ecosystems to support human life, therefore could not give rise to any organism akin to humans, let alone humans themselves, and thus humans were designed for Earth. Organic matter prospering and flourishing in the right conditions can be created and recreated in laboratory conditions, conclusively proving that it's not a one-time thing. It's a natural process. Instead of looking at the problem from the viewpoint that life is coming from nowhere except right here, and lucky us, we're on the right planet to be that life that can prosper. Thanks, God, for putting us here. The viewpoint should be, life is attempting to flourish wherever it can, but it cannot unless it has certain conditions. We aren't put here especially because we can live here. We flourish here because it is our drive to do so and we have the capability. If Earth were not a planet that could support life, it would, simple as that. And not a tear would be shed for it either. Just like no tears are being shed for the billions of planets that had the potential to support life, but couldn't because of the chemical makeup of the atmosphere, the temperature, the gravity, or any number of reasons. I'd also like to point out that having the right temperature, chemical makeup, and gravity, as well as every other condition necessary to facilitate life, isn't only random chance for a planet to turn out like that. It's a random chance being taken an indefinite number of times. Because when a sun explodes, it turns the entire solar system into solar, spatial dust that eventually reforms, based on the laws of physics that are provable and reprovable, into planetary bodies. Sometimes smaller bodies like asteroids and other spatial solid objects, but planets do form. Even if the odds of a planet with Earth's conditions forming is 1 in a trillion, like 1 in every trillion suns that explode will have a planet with roughly similar specifications to Earth. Even if the odds of that are only 1 in a trillion, if the chance is taken enough times, it will happen. Life on Earth is not special or preordained or planned or designed. It is the end result of random chance combined with the laws of physics and function that caused an inevitability to be realized. That's it. it was inevitable that this kind of stuff would happen. And if it were to not happen here, it would happen somewhere else, and we would just exist not maybe us, but life would exist there and probably have just as existential questions as we do, wondering why they're there and not here, or somewhere else. Another example of intelligent design often used is a thing called irreducible complexity, which is defined as a system of basic components to a larger system, wherein the function of the larger system is annihilated when any of the basic components are removed. The first example I found of this on the internet was a mousetrap, and it's a decent one. In a mousetrap, it's made up of a metal bar that collapses on whatever gets stuck in it, a trigger, a spring, several other small parts, a base, and without any of those parts it could not function as a mousetrap, and thus the entire system would be useless. It has been said that natural selection cannot account for this irreducible complexity in organisms, but that is also false. Two things must be known about evolution for this to be contradicted. First, if something helps an organism survive and reproduce better, and by better I mean more efficiently or effectively, that organism will pass on its gene better than its counterparts in its environment, and cannot reproduce as well because of a lack of that advantage. If a complex system in an organism performs better than a simple system, or several simple systems working concurrently but not with any coordination, that organism will have a leg up on any organism with the aforementioned deficiencies. Second, if a part of a system can perform better with different or fewer components than the one it's currently using, the organisms that use these components less will reproduce better than the ones that use them more. However, despite the fact that it is known to occur that a part of a system will eventually be excluded from an organism's genetic makeup entirely, like with certain blind lizards that are found in caves where their eyes are completely gone from centuries of just not needing them, not using them at all. What is more common and efficient in nature is for the component to be reassigned. A very good example of this would be in the mammalian jaw. The division between mammals and reptiles in our evolutionary line is largely marked by the transition from jaws with several links, like in a snake or other reptiles, like in the joints of a human finger, for example, where there's several bones that allow for more flexibility. The transition from that into a one-bone jaw like mammals have today. It was apparently more efficient for mammals to have a jaw made of one bone than several connected bones. So instead of the bones disintegrating or being absorbed into the genome or whatever, just entirely removed from the equation, the central bone grew in size and displaced the other bones, moving them up into the skull. Now the obvious question to ask is, how is that better for mammals? I don't see the purpose of having bones in one's skull. But the truth is, I have bones in my skull and you have bones in yours. So does every mammal. The three tiniest bones in the body, the ones in your inner ear, are the ancient remnants of the bones that used to make up our jaws. Instead of deleting the extra unneeded bones, they were reassigned to make hearing more efficient. Thus a complex system emerged. And if even one of these tiny bones were removed, it would be a pipe dream for us to hear at all. But those components were not ordained to be there and were not there at one point. And we were not designed to have them. However, when we came to have them, things got easier for us and we kept them. It was just the best way of doing things with what genetic resources we had available, which is what evolution is. The next argument for intelligent design I will mention is specified complexity, which is defined as something that is both specific and complex. The letter A is specific but not complex. A random sequence of letters is complex but not specific. But a story thousands of letters long that strings together coherently is both specific and complex. This concept was first devised by a mathematician named William Dembski. Dembski has been widely discredited in his field for using methods that are eliminative and prone to drawing false conclusions.